Hello, everybody! Welcome to another Valheim video. I'm excited because this is one of those live streamed conversations, and today we're going to be talking with Giorno, who's one of the lead community manager people behind Val-Con. So this is going to be cool because I have not been paying much attention to what's been going on with Val-Con since it happened because I've been totally lost in my own development stuff. So now I'm really excited. I can't believe that February is so far away and is coming back again. So how's it going, Giorno?
It's going well. How are you, JP?
I'm wonderful. So many exciting tangents I could go on, but I will save everybody and I will just let you get into it. So what's up? What's happening with Valcon?
A lot is being done behind the scenes to prepare the groundwork that will be Val-Con 2026. So I kind of wanted to gather today with, of course, you and do an interview to kind of let the community know we haven't forgotten about Val-Con, and it is going to happen again in 2026. So I'm kind of doing a call out to people that want to volunteer and kind of go over some of the feedback we gathered during the 2025 event. And of course, talk about new ideas and new features we can bring to the table, of course, with you all giving your feedback.
Yeah, and I've got the comments up, so now I think I have everything set up. So I can see Giorno. I don't look like I'm looking over there. And I can see the chat. And you guys can't see that I can see the chat, even though I was lazy and forgot my second monitor set up. So I think we're all good. The one thing I want to make sure that people understand before we move forward, Giorno, is what is Valcon? Because I think that those of us who participated know about it, obviously, right? And some people who heard about it did. But ultimately, there's a lot of people who have no idea what it is, right? And I was contacted by a couple people who were like, "Holy crap! If I had known, I would have wanted to join and share this project and these things I'm working on." You know what I mean? So, well, what was Valcon in 2025? What happened? What was it?
So Val-Con is Valheim's first ever fan-led digital online convention. So it is essentially like a Comic-Con or like any other in-person convention, except it was done in the game and it was done digitally over a 24-hour period on stream. We showcased a ton of content creators. I'd like to think it's the biggest Valheim collaboration ever. There was over 200 content creators that contributed to the
Felt like it.
world. So um, it was a success for sure, and a lot of people have reached out in excitement, wanting to know more about the future of that event.
And so, just so people know from my perspective, basically, I helped them by being one of the co-hosts. And so, there's a lot of different roles that they need to kind of have the event go smoothly, for example, right? You need people, you can't just have one person managing an event for 48 hours, right? You need like multiple people doing their thing and all that kind of stuff. So I helped host a couple panels, and I apologize. I know I'm all blurry, but I helped host a couple panels about modding in Valheim, where I discussed with others and kind of got them talking about certain subjects. And I want to say there were like 12 or panels total. How many were there?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, and that was an absolute blast. So for those of you who haven't been to a convention or know what a panel is pretty much just like four or five people who are supposed experts or whatever. They're supposed to fill a certain role. So they don't necessarily have to be experts. They could be a panel of five players who have no idea what they're doing and have never played the game before. It's just a panel of five people who are talking about a particular subject, and it's kind of like each person is expected to kind of give their 5 cents so that the conversation is shared amongst all and you get a good mix of different opinions, right? So I had a lot of fun with those panels. And for me, like something like Valcon, like for me, it was never really about like if a lot of people would watch or a lot of people would learn about it. It's more about like the activating force it had and how it felt to work with other people and learn about them. And that's why I'm excited for them. And I, in my heart, they always will succeed because people come together and do these awesome things. and that's just inspiring and amazing. So I loved it.
That was the lifeblood of Val-Con when we initially got the team together and we had those first discussions. Uh, Bringing the community together was always at the top. So it was never about, let's sell merchandise or tickets or anything like that. It was always about let's gather all the Vikings we can and just have one massive celebration, not only celebrating the actual community we're in, because we're very lucky to have the Valheim community, but also celebrate Iron Gate in the game and its birthday during that time period.
Yeah. And so just to further clarify, because I beat around the bush a little bit, what ended up happening is we had like, I don't know, like 20 or 30 content creators, or I don't remember how many there were exactly, but they kind of all made content ahead of time or committed to participating in a live stream and talking about something. So then when the Val-Con event happened, it's like this 2 day live stream that's populated by these slots that each content creator or community person or whoever wanted to show off their project had already submitted for, right? And so it was like this constant feed of Valheim related concepts from people who were really into the game and really passionate about it.
In total, we ended up getting a lot of content submitted, so much that we ran out of space, and it's a good problem to have. The community was very excited about the prospect of being able to showcase their personality in their builds to a larger audience, and also bring in new fans. So people were very excited to showcase that, and because of that, we got, I want to say, 80, somewhere between 80 and 100 total content submissions. Um, it was crazy the amount that the team needed to wade through, and we had to pick a little from everyone. So we tried to make sure that everyone got to showcase at least one thing. So it was incredible how the community came together for that.
And so for those of you who didn't see the live stream last year, not to worry because you can just watch it. It's still on YouTube. If you go to the link in the description of this live stream on YouTube, I put the link to their Val-Con channel, or you can just Google Val-Con 2025 YouTube, and it'll show the channel. And you can just rewatch the live stream in particular. There were two of them, and that, yeah, you can just find it. It's kind of long, right? So it's kind of, you have to sort of know where the part you want to see is if you're not intending to just keep it running for a while. But I've actually had that running a couple times just to have some Valheim related stuff in the background when I'm not really that focused, but I want to hear some like chatter, you know? And that's how I've been using it. But it's out there and you can see it. But I think a lot of people sort of understand that that was sort of like a practice run, right? We're sort of figuring out how things work and what people will enjoy and what they struggle with and these kind of things, right? So I feel like even just from participating, I learned so much just from the other people who joined and all the things that they've done. And like, it was incredible just from a networking perspective, meeting all these other people. And that alone has been very good for me. I mean, obviously, I make Valheim content, so I'm more benefited by meeting other Valheim people. But I think everybody could benefit from it, right? There's a lot of people who want more access to people who love Valheim, and this is a great way to get that.
Yeah, you see it on Discord, you see it on Reddit, you see it on Facebook. People have worlds that they want to come alive, and they want to bring people in to make a group, because Valheim, the game itself, is meant to be played as a group. So even if the game itself struggles during certain points of that adventure, the overall social aspect of the game remains, in that it's a fun game to play as a community. And Val-Con in and of itself was just an incredible, um, it was basically that idea cranked to 11. So if you're looking for a community or a group of Vikings to join you in your world, or you just want to meet and play with other Vikings, Val-Con would be a great place to do that.
Yeah, it's fantastic for community building, and especially so the people I had who reached out to me were people who have like long projects they've been working on for Valheim, but they've just like not shown anybody, or they hadn't felt like starting their own community or that kind of thing yet. And seeing Val-Con helped activate them, right? And so that's the way I look at it. It's not that it's going to reach the masses, it's that it activates the people who make the stuff the masses enjoy, right? And so, like Balron, for example, he is a perfect example of somebody who, at least he told me, I think in stream, so I'm not like discussing something confidential. He told me that when like Val-Con happened and all these things happened, it really helped rekindle his community vibes, and he had felt kind of ostracized and like maybe people were angry with him or didn't like him or something. And then Val-Con happened, and he was able to just reconnect with the Valheim love and everything, and he's been churning out mods. So like that's like the ideal outcome from my perspective, right? Like there's so
Yeah,
many
you're
people. Go on.
so many. I was going to say that you mentioned people that I care deeply for, like Balrond and me are close, and he had a large undertaking with our new Valheim server, New Dawn. And when I brought him in, it was kind of like Valcon had just ended, so we were still riding that high. Everyone was motivated. I feel like it rekindled a flame in a lot of people that enjoyed this game, who were approaching burnout or were thinking of doing another game to
Yeah.
have that be their main title. It kind of brought that motivation back to play the game that we all love.
Yeah, from game design, that's something I believe in. The reasons we often play games are actually to get interactions with humans. So when we look back at our childhoods and think that we had incredible gaming experiences, we're neglecting the fact that when we had those incredible gaming experiences, we would then go and talk with our friends at school about them all day and hear about them from other people at school. We were literally completely immersed in some situations in the culture of looking into the eyes of other humans who care deeply about the game you're playing. That's why children enjoy things. They have other friends who love it so much. It's infectious, you know. But adults get so jaded and bitter and cynical. We take longer to become that joyful. But it's the same for everyone. It's infectious, right? And I couldn't agree more that that's the power of it, and that's like why I want to do more of these discussions in this format. So I don't sit on the content and I just have a live stream. People can ask questions in the chat. That way we have a direct connection with them. We can bring it up. I want to make it more accessible because Valheim is a really great community building game. It's just like it needs a little bit of, a little bit of love here and there, and you need to like understand how to work it. All right.
Yeah, it's something you have to tend to. It's not like riding a bike. You can't leave Valheim for a year and come back and expect it to be the same. The game is in early access; it's always changing, and that goes to show even the latest update that's still in PTB. Shout out to Valheim Gal. We're doing a playthrough right now of that on stream, but I wanted to briefly go over some of the feedback as well that was kind of gathered in retrospect. We had
Turning
some
speed.
amazing suggestions that were given, and of course, we want to take questions in the chat or ideas. If you guys got ideas or suggestions, I would love to see them in chat. This was always meant to be collaborative. We have I want to say we have like 8, 9 people on the internal staff, so it's a good sized team, but it's growing. We're looking for more people, so we're also throwing a call out there. If you want to be involved and you've got a talent that you feel would help Valcon in any way, reach out.
Do you want to elaborate a little bit more about what kinds of like okay, let's talk about what happened last year, for example. What work did you have too much of available, and what work was there like, oh, we need more people who know how to do this? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we had the live broadcast on Twitch and YouTube was set. That was a truly a gem. That broadcast was flawless from start to finish. We don't really have much work per se to do there. Just refine what we have already done. Maybe have more guests and more things to showcase. But we do need more help in the in-game section. We need people
Yeah.
who have great ideas about what we could do as Vikings in the 10th realm together. that would be fun, and things that are unique that you've never seen before. I don't know, like 100 players fight the Elder, and it's an incredible mess. But you want stuff
Yeah.
that you
Yeah,
haven't
those
seen
community
elsewhere.
one-time events. Yeah, exactly. And that's honestly something I cannot wait for scripting to be more commonplace because like even I already knew back in the Val-Con that scripting was a big deal, right? Because that's what I made these panels about and what I cared about when I was talking with people. But now it's gotten even more advanced and it's even easier to use. And it's like you can make whole quests, you could make whole faction warfare systems, you could make something where like you have an event and certain people have different experiences purely for the sake of a live stream or something. Like you could make scripts that are purely to make machinima better. Like you can completely alter Valheim. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. And I know eventually that's going to be much more common knowledge and people are going to be doing it. So I think this is kind of key to that. But before that can all happen, the average player needs to like be more comfortable with mods in general, and that hasn't happened yet. It's weird, right? So that's sort of one of the things I try and do with content is point out that like you can play vanilla, you can play modded. It's not better. It's just a game. Like you don't need to be so hateful of like people who play one way versus the other, right? But understand that even saying that, I'll get shit talked on Reddit because that's life, you know. So we shouldn't really pay it too much attention, and we should just focus on having fun and doing what works for the events and everything, right? So
Right, we shouldn't be gatekeeping, like, how people wanna experience Valheim, because we have a
yeah,
server that
exactly.
if you were to log into it, you would be like, "Holy crap, what is this? This isn't Valheim anymore." And that it is because Valheim in and of itself is a sandbox game. Why not go play in the sandbox? See what you can
Yeah.
build. And as the game approaches 1.0, more and more people, hopefully, because the game is considered complete, will venture into the modded realm and see what options there are available. I know that during my 2 discussions with Jonathan, that after the game is released, they have mentioned, I'm not gonna say they're actually working on it, but they have mentioned mod sport. So if
A
Iron
Steam
Gate comes
Workshop
out
someday,
and
that
does
would be cool.
then it's complete. The game in it is its modding community will flourish. And what we'll see, it'll be the golden age of modding for Valheim, in my opinion, because we have the complete package.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, Jorno, I think we're already in the golden age of Valheim modding. It's just people don't know because Valheim itself is a niche game compared to when it was popular. So if you like took all the humans who are alive right now who have played Valheim, most of them have absolutely no idea about like what current Valheim is because they played during the pandemic. So it's like you have to, even though the game changes, it's like the concepts people have about Valheim in the masses don't change quickly as the game changes, right? Maybe I'll be proven wrong when it releases. You know, who knows what will happen? But these things take time generally. You know, people are stubborn, really stubborn.
Yeah, you want to warm them up, and first thing you probably just want to offer a couple of quality of life mods. Just try the inventory slots, try equip items and equipment and water. Little things that really aren't going to affect your experience all that much, just to get a taste of what Valheim modding is like. And then once
I
you've
guess they're
really
scared,
experienced your fill
right?
of the
They're
game,
scared they're gonna break it. Is that like because I for me it's a bit confusing because it's like if a mod makes the game more fun for you, I don't get it. Like, does it? It ends like that. Just ends at that point for me. The game's more fun. You're having fun. What's the problem? Like, I don't understand, right? And Gatoth,
it's
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. You can ask any questions. I'm watching the chat, so people just haven't really asked much. So I've just been winging it with Jorna. And so, just to be clear, Jorno, earlier you basically said that we had plenty of work and volunteers available for the live stream itself and like dealing with the chat and that kind of thing and dealing with the streams and the co-hosts. But what we were lacking is a solid in-game experience let me rephrase, many solid in-game experiences that people can join. Because obviously you can't just have one. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding last year is that the server itself had some. I was in the live stream, so I had no idea what was happening. But I think it had some issues with like people being able to log onto it. I don't remember what exactly happened. But do you want
Yeah,
to
there was
elaborate a
a
bit
last
more
minute
about that?
update. Yeah, there was a
Yeah.
last minute update that came in the morning of Val-Con, which is another reason why we want to be more collaborative with everyone, including Iron Gate, is because
Yeah.
we want it to line up for everyone so that everyone can have a flawless Val-Con experience. If all the modders are aware that Val-Con is happening this day, then they don't release an update because we discuss with them, we're showcasing them at the event. We're
Yeah.
promoting their mods.
Release
So
it 2 days
don't
later.
release an update during the event the day of. Um, and that's things that, as you said, it takes time, and we're going to build that rapport with people.
Yeah.
As more and more modders come on board, they're familiar with what we do, and that will improve the experience overall. And of course, Iron Gate's basically waiting to see what our plans are to tell us whether or not they want to be attached to the next one. So it's like
I
it's
really,
only going
really
to go
hope
up.
at least one of them does an interview, honestly. I don't know about other people, but for me personally, that would mean a lot. I'm not as bubbly with Iron Gate anymore. I love them, but also I want to see faces more. I want to hear more from them. I feel it in my heart. You know what I mean? And it did. I'm very glad the composer showed up. That was so cool getting to know him a bit better. But it did break my heart a little bit that like all these people come together for a game and like they're not the critical people on Reddit. Like we're like some of the most bubbly, loving of Valheim people. They were not gonna get asked controversial questions if they showed their face to us in Val-Con. So for me, it broke my heart a little bit that they didn't. So I hope that they do. You know.
They are definitely interested, and they were aware we were there, and I know a lot of them watched the broadcast. It's just from what I understood, the hack with their Discord,
Yeah, there's too
someone
much
didn't
stuff
have
going on.
2FA set up, and
I
there was a
understand.
security
People are
breach.
busy. But here's the thing about managing expectation, especially when you develop games. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what's happening with you. All that really matters is what your players are experiencing. So on one hand, I totally understand. I get it. But at the same time, it's important to manage expectations anyway. You know what I mean? And like I don't know. I just try and pay attention to these things. And I feel like if I'm not direct with people, then it's hard for them to know like what's expected of them. But like if Iron Gate ever sees something I make, I mean if they want to just talk to me once, I'd be happy and not critical at all. Like but the thing is like I'm aware that there's like cultural stuff going on and that they're very busy and that they're people. You know what I mean? But there is this issue with the Valheim players as well. And if we just defend Iron Gate, we then neglect so many people who've played their game. So I don't think it's wise, really, to just defend Iron Gate. We need to be more realistic so that we can help kind of unite the Valheim community more. Because I think that part of the root for these problems, and because there's this like division sort of between the modders, the vanillas, the normal players, and it doesn't need to be there, right? That division has formed for many reasons I won't get into, but it's very real. And one of the things I want to do is help remove that because it's pointless. It doesn't help either person. People who are vanilla can learn from mods, and the developers they could save so much time if they just watched live streams of people doing mods and got a sense for people's favorite stuff. Then they don't have to test it themselves. Like it's a win-win situation for people, right? But we're just not ready yet. There's too much kind of hesitation and toxicity in certain circles and these things. So it's hard, but we got to get through it, right? So I hope they show up. I really do. That would be awesome.
It was part of why we had a modded and a vanilla Val-Con server in one Discord. Like we wanted all the Vikings to come together, whether they liked a modded experience or a vanilla experience. And then they all chatted in the Discord, or maybe you joined this guy in the vanilla server and then you convinced him to come check out the modded because you told him about the TVs and the radio stations and stuff like that we had on the modded experience. So
Oh,
I
that's
understand
a
there
good
is a
distinction
separation
to
there.
make though. You're right, because I'm talking more about players. The thing you're talking about with community members, I don't at least I haven't experienced it as much. Like I haven't experienced a lot of flack from other community people about using or not using mods, but I see how the players are divided, and they very much are divided about that. And you can kind of, trace it to certain things. So you know, just gotta roll with it. And my motto really is like, we gotta teach each other how to treat each other well, because we live in a time where humans don't treat each other well, and we're not very empathetic or understanding of those who have different perspectives or opinions. And really, that's what you need to do to have a good, thriving community. It's not about surrounding yourself with people who agree with you. That's just like a cult. It's not going to go anywhere in the long run. It's not going to evolve past what you can imagine. But if you surround yourself with people who really truly just have a passion they share, and they have disagreements about it, they have different opinions about it, that's the environment that in the future becomes more than any of the participants can imagine. It's this catalytic effect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, some of the best ideas that we came up for during the entire process when we were developing Val-Con were ideas that people had conflicting thoughts and opinions on. Some of the best things that ever saw the light of day came from disagreements. So
Mm-hmm.
when I brought the team together, I made sure that we selected people that I felt um, could be community minded, who could, but also speak their mind and not be afraid to give thoughts and opinions and feedback. Because sometimes, like, it may be completely different to do it another way and easier on everybody if you would have just spoken up and gave your thoughts, not being afraid of what others were thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's generally a talent people lack, but I tend to go on tangential things about psychology and stuff, and I'll refrain from that for a moment and get back onto the subject of Valcon. Gatoth actually asked a question earlier, and I'll help get to these other questions as well. Something from Valheim Gal and Speed I saw. So Gatoth says, would you guys be down to do a Valheim bear hunt challenge if that content drops by then? We have like in on it, that content's definitely gonna drop by Val-Con. Just so you know, I'm confident in making that prediction. I think Call to Arms will come out before Val-Con. Um,
So I have a two-parter for that question.
Go on.
Yes, the bear hunt will be ready by Valcon, and yes, we will have stuff like trophy hunts uh, available for you and your buddies to do during Valcon 2026. And the second part of that question is I might as well announce it now so that you're aware. Valcon 2026 will not be happening on Valheim's birthday in 2026 in February. That was a special way to do the first event. It aligned with Valheim's birthday, and it just made sense to do it that way. But for
Yeah,
Valcon 2026, we are not looking at February. It's going to be later in the year. I can't say exactly when, but I
oh,
know
gotta
that
time it when it's right. Because now
exactly.
based on last year, you know exactly what to do. And I've worked with you enough that I know that you can be trusted to manage things well and deal with events and people. So I have full faith in whatever you guys figure out.
And we got a ton of feedback, and I know I wanted to briefly go over some of the things that were brought up uh, during Valcon 2025 that we want to do better. Like, it was our first event. It had growing pains for like any other first event that anyone would do. Its initial vision was to be an in-person event. So over time, it kind of evolved and kind of devolved into what we felt would be the best way to present it.
I mean, that's fitting. It's fitting because COVID created the Valheim situation, basically. So why not affect it this way too?
Right. I know we got a lot of feedback regarding the stream-a-thon, the 24-hour stream-a-thon with the panel contest people and the different content creators we would showcase on there. A lot of people felt that they wanted to see more live footage of the servers and like live events, like the build competition or the PvP stuff that Mythic put on, showcased on the stream instead of there just be talking heads for
Yeah, the
15,
whole
20
time.
minutes and then another
Yeah.
video. So we heard you guys on that. We will be trying to do more live events, and we will try to showcase those live events when we do Val-Con 2026. Another thing that we wanted to do is we wanted more content creators. We wanted more people involved with the world. We wanted more content creators who could be available to step in to the live panels. Like there's so much more we could do in that arena, and there's so many more people we could showcase that people aren't aware of. There are small streamers out there with less than 100 followers that they may be amazing and they're just undiscovered. We want those people to be highlighted. We want big streamers and we want small streamers. We definitely wanted more localization. So we wanted a Valcon stream, like a primary stream with all your normal people, and then we wanted a stream with a content creator from a specific region. Maybe there's a German stream, and then there's a Spanish stream, and there's a Japanese stream. Like we wanted all those things because we truly wanted Valcon to be a global phenomenon, and we got close to that.
So it's almost like it has to be a period of time, not a live stream. Is is that a good way to put it? That's what I'm hearing. Like it was a live stream, but the fact that it was a single live stream inherently limited it. And it really basically needs to be almost like a Valheim holiday, like Valheim Day or whatever, where like there's all these events or Valheim Week. I don't know, something like that. Because that would give you the flexibility to like know that like, okay, everybody's making Valheim stuff right now at this time for this thing. And you can just like post it with a hashtag and you're part of it, or something, because then it's like easier for people to contribute, so it might make it easier to get the content and get people more involved that way, because then you can do what you want and you just like, instead of you having the whole live stream, maybe yeah there's an official Valcon live stream, but its job is sort of to be like, look at that one, what they're doing, whoa, go look at them, oh, look at this one, what they're doing, wow, go look at them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we understand that completely, and that's why we won't be doing the 24-hour streamathon again for the first event. It made sense to do it because everyone was so pumped that we had so much content to showcase that we just couldn't do it if it was any less. So for the next event, we're thinking that the stream will have an opening and closing time, just like any normal convention would. And during that time, we can showcase what's going on everywhere else in the Valheim community. So you could be like, there's a PvP event going on over at here, and there's a build contest going on over here, and this person's doing a survival playthrough with these people at this time. And you're right, like what you said, we want to showcase all those things. I guess it would be like we're all camping and we all come around the campfire and we kind of tell everyone, hey, this is what's up. We're going to showcase a few things, talk to a few people, bring in a few guests, and then we're going to go let you guys run loose and experience Valcon. And you guys share that. Like there should be people streaming their Valcon experience, and people could be participating just by watching that. So it doesn't always have to necessarily be on the Valcon channels. We want it, like you said, to be a Valheim holiday.
Yeah. I mean, so the way I'm imagining it is just, I'll just go on this tangent for a little bit. There's Valheim Week, right? And it is the Valheim convention that is Valcon basically, is that particular week. And then because we have all of these content creators involved, it could basically be sort of like that traditional kind of thing. I could see how that would make it easier for people to participate in. And at the same time, I see how like it's so awesome that now you will have all of what happened before to play off of. Because maybe you can elaborate a bit on this, but for me, the first time something is done is almost always very stressful and confusing for me. Once I've been through that first time, it's so easy to fix and improve things because it's like, oh, this didn't work, make it better. That didn't work, make it like it's simple, right? But when you haven't done it for the first time, it's like, oh, what if that? And then, it's so easy to waste time. So I think we're all in a good position. I've learned a lot. So before I ask you something, I want to ask anyone in the comments if there's anything you guys want to recommend or want us to bring up or talk about, just mention it. I see Dam Surfer asked, what is Val-Con? So we're discussing what Val-Con is. Val-Con 2025 was a 48-hour live stream with a bunch of different content creators. Val-Con 2026 is forming. Make sense? That's what we're figuring out, right, Jonah?
Yeah, so Val-Con 2025, the TLDR on that is it was a massive collaboration between 200 content creators in an in-game world, and then there was a 24-hour stream that showcased different content creators, had different panels and live guests that we interviewed. So that, if you want to go find it, it's Val-Con event on YouTube, and it's Val-Con event on, I think, almost every platform. So go and find us. We have a Twitch channel too. Um, my group, the Planeswalkers, is doing a build competition every month on the vanilla Val-Con server. So we still do stuff together to promote Val-Con. Stone Prophet has created Riverheim, which is our Val-Con's very own server. So you can
Well, he
join.
created he's running the server that has Riverheim, but the person who created Riverheim is different. It wasn't Stone Prophet, just to be clear.
Okay. Do you know who created that? Because I don't remember seeing him say that who created that.
It's his 1 second, let me pull up his Discord thing.
Got to give credit where credit's due. Thanks, Norson.
Yeah, Riverheim is well,
It's a
I
mod, right?
remember his Discord handle. I won't say it because on Riverheim it just says Riverheim Dev. Yeah, but I could be totally wrong, but I'm under the impression that it is not Stone Prophet. But Stone Prophet put the mod on the Riverheim on the Val-Con server and has been running that. I just don't want Stone Prophet to get in trouble for people thinking he stole that. Yeah, so I just
Yeah,
wanted to be clear
he's
about that.
running the server. He isn't the
Yes,
creator
yeah.
of the mod. That he's just running the Val-Con server where you could join the Discord, and even during the off season when we're not doing much, where we're just meeting and trying to facilitate the ideas that eventually become 2026 event, you can still hang out with all the content creators, all the different people. There's people that bought tickets that are still in the Discord, still playing on our server, still giving their thoughts and ideas towards the event, even when we have nothing else to do but just play the game.
Oh, and that actually brings up so someone asked if it will cost anything.
Currently, in its current state, it will never cost you anything. It will most likely always be a free event in its current stage, I guess you'd call it. Maybe one day, if it ever becomes an in-person event, it would make sense to charge because there's things you need to pay to do in an event in
Yeah, in
person.
person's
Pay
different. That makes
rent,
sense.
you're gonna pay the IT people to run the sound, and yeah, and then the live stream and all those people.
You have to rent
So,
a place that costs like $10,000 or something for an hour. Like they're stupid expensive. Those big buildings.
in its digital
Garebu, yes,
format.
Garebu is the Discord name of the person who created Riverheim. Yes, there you go.
Thanks for throwing that out there.
And Gatoth had an idea. He said, I would love to see a mead hole with an open mic style event where your character can hang out and tell a story, say a poem, or maybe you are musically inclined. That would be. I want to see someone play the guitar over a mic in a live stream in Valheim in an inn.
There
That
was
would be
some
pretty
music
funny.
that was submitted for the Val-Con event, and on the modded server, the radio station had a couple, not all of them. Some were AI music that people had created through Sumo, but there was 3 or 4 original creations. Stone Prophet submitted one, and a couple other people submitted actual music that they created for the event. So there has been talk of getting musical guests for 2026. I know that there's a lot of bands out there that are very Viking sided. They're in that realm that we can kind of pick from. And of course, there's tons of amazing bands in the Scandinavian region that we could pick from as well to kind of showcase the Swedish, Scandinavian, people from Norway, that region, their culture. So there's so much we could do like Viking adjacent that we we can really pull from, and we want those ideas. We want to hear from those people. So yeah, the sky's the limit.
I remember the song. That was great. So you've mentioned feedback from other people, but what about you? How did you feel personally about Val-Con last year, and how do you feel about the next one? I'm like, can you relate them to each other? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can. So Valcon 2025 in my eyes was a success. Um, we still have people talking about it to this day, and we still sell a shirt every now and then, or whatever little piece of merch that people want to memorialize, so that they can remember like their experiences and their time spent at the convention. So if people are still talking about it, in my opinion, that's still a success. We don't have people shunning us, so that's great. Um, we got people wanting to volunteer, coming forward and say, "Hey, I got these ideas. I want to do this for Valcon in the future." So if people are coming together and still wanting to be collaborative, that tells me that Valcon was a success. And I think we could build on the success of that. We have a nice foundation now, and we just start building the house for what will become, you know, huge change for this community. Valcon will change the foundation of this game. It will bring everyone together, and hopefully it'll bring Iron Gate and make them involved. And then once that happens, it'll be incredible.
So I guess more what I'm trying to figure out is now what kinds of things, because I also feel the same. Like it's very clear it activated people and everything. I'm not trying to suggest otherwise. What I'm trying to learn about is like what specific sentiment did you have about the 2025 Val-Con event that is you're keeping in mind that you either do you want to make sure that happens or you want to make sure it doesn't happen in the next one. Either way, do you see what I'm getting at? Something more specific.
Yeah, I could get a little bit more specific. Um, Sometimes when you work in collaboration with people, those people, how do I say this? I don't like talking bad about anyone, but there's certain people that when the stress gets high and the event is live, and
Things
you
get
have to
worse.
you have to do something, you have a role to play, um, they kinda get buried by it, and then there's some people that, they rise up when that challenge happens. Um,
Yeah.
and then there's some people that just can't play nice. So, you kinda learn about people and what their strengths and weaknesses are by collaborating with them and spending what we must have spent thousands of hours creating this. So that was definitely something that hurt, was having people who collaborate step away because they disagreed with someone, or they didn't feel that the in-game thing was being held at the same standard as the live broadcast.
Mhm.
So those things are valid points, and we definitely take those things to heart, which is why we take that feedback and we really take a hard look at it, both at the event and internally at ourselves when creating the next event and who we involve.
Ah,
Because this
I
is
think
it's
I
almost like
understand
a
what you're
touchy-feely right
saying
now.
now. So Volcon 2025 was about the creators, not about the. Is that what it is?
It was about the content in the game, for
But
sure. It
I
was
mean,
about bringing
let
all
me
those people.
rephrase this. It was more about the people who participated, not about an enjoyable experience for the Valheim player or watcher. Does that make sense? That wasn't the. I'm not saying that didn't happen. I'm just saying that it's not the thing that was the focus, if that makes sense. Because it just clicked as soon as you were talking about that. I realized why did I love it so much and have so much fun? but like the average player doesn't necessarily know about it, right? And I think I understand because it was very fun for a content creator who makes Valheim videos and wants to find more people who are like that, but it wasn't accessible to a normal person, maybe. So I think what you're getting at, I'm adding to your sentiment there, but what I'm interpreting is that something to improve is to understand that people are watching and they're viewers and they're not creators, they're not participating, and they need to feel included and they need to have fun and they need to know what to do and what to expect. And that's where we can really improve. Would you say that's accurate of what you just
Yeah,
said?
I agree. When we set up the ticketing aspect for it, we didn't think that it was just adding another boundary to getting into the in-game world. We wanted those people that are watching to be like, oh, they have like 12 servers, and I could just go and see and meet these people. Like you can meet actual content creators there at their
Mm-hmm.
booth. Um, but they didn't know how to do it, and they didn't know how to get in. And then they got to the ticketing, and it was like, oh, there's a ticketing, even though they were free. You still had to go
Yeah,
through and
yeah,
put
it's
in some
confusing.
very brief things in there to get access. We wanted to also make sure at the same time that it was a secure place, that people weren't going to come in and jump into a voice chat and hear toxic uh, crap in our servers. Excuse my French, but we want to we
Yeah.
wanted to avoid that at all aspects, because it is the first event, and we knew Iron Gate was watching, and we knew feedback was going to be highlighted heavily, because it is our first event and none of us have actually done this. All of us were kind of new to doing a convention, especially digitally. So, and in order for that to come into fruition, we needed people to create the content for us to showcase. So that's why it was so heavily
And then to
focused
go
on the
through
subject.
all of that content, like I can't even imagine that. I struggle to watch videos I just recorded, let alone like it's everyone else's content as well. And like I like fixing the audio of things and like that's so much work, you know. So I think Jirok did a lot of that, and I'm sure some others helped as well. But respect for that, definitely.
And just kind of to highlight what Gatos said in chat, he basically said that there was some content that he didn't really align with, and that's fine. That's kind of the whole reason why it was such a long streamed event, is because we wanted a little something for everyone, and that kind of brought the global community together, because someone who enjoys building may not be too interested in a PvP event, or vice versa. So in for 2026, we definitely want to make sure we highlight what those things that are happening are, when they're happening, so that you can see what you're interested in and tune in for that. So that should answer your question, Gatoth.
So I wonder, I guess let me rephrase the angle here a little bit. What if when is the best time of year for okay, let's just imagine there's 1 week of the year to have Valheim week. What is the best week of the year for that? Is it during Iron Gate summer vacation or is it not? What do you think? What's the things to keep in mind for timing of an event like that?
I'm going to be honest. I've spoken, I wouldn't say a lot or a ton with these guys, but I do have conversations with them. They aren't the type of people to really come and hang out or do things work related when they're on vacation. And that's not because of they're snobs or anything. It's not that at
No, they're
all.
trying to, that makes
It's
sense.
culturally that's how it is
Yeah.
for them,
So
to
you're
be
saying
able to
it would
get
be
more
a
time out.
bad time if, well, you would assume it would be a bad time if we wanted to increase the chance of Iron Gate participating. It would be better to do it at a time
When
where they are working but not busy. Is that
Pretty much.
correct?
Yes. Well,
Okay.
you essentially want them to get paid both from their perspective, especially if they're doing work, by talking to us about what they're doing or what they're involved in, which is work for them. This is their jobs, their careers. So, but not only that, we would hope to be able to facilitate some type of monetary experience for them, so that it's a rewarding relationship between Iron Gate and us. So if they are on the clock, then I feel like you're going to get Iron Gate's attention and get them more involved that way, just based on how they are in the past.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Interesting. So Valheim Gal has a comment. I recently hosted a game with someone who'd never played Valheim. It was so much fun to experience it all over again through her eyes. Sharing is what is important to me, to show people how fun Valheim is and can be. That is wonderful. There is something magical about that moment when someone else, like you can feel that you're not like making them play, they're playing and you just happen to be there helping them. You know what I mean? Like I love that vibe. It's so like it's almost like childlike. You know, like a kid who's like just having fun doing something for the first time and they're not concerned about their mortgage or something, right?
And it's interesting because almost every Valheim player I've ever met has a story about that group that got them into the game. Like that group is sacred to them. And even if they're not playing with the same group currently, that group still holds a place in their heart. And exactly what Valheim Gal said, when you show someone the game, it Valheim is really a game that experience, especially if they're an avid gamer, is something that sticks with them. And it really becomes quite a thing. Now I almost got 4,000 hours in this game, and I know other people are just as much or even more. This game is truly a labor of love from Iron Gate, and as a game in and of itself is truly addictive. So to be able to share that
It's
experience with someone, and
it's
essentially
something
that's
that
what Valcon is. It's like it's that times 1,000. It's come and let's truly have a great time as one community, not this community, that community, this community. Of course, all those things are mentioned because it's nice to know where you can find these people if you really enjoy hanging out with them. But it was more about like we're all Vikings in the 10th realm. Let's just get together.
that really touches into maybe that can be something, a role that Val-Con can play, because so I've pulled my Valheim community on YouTube and it's not that big. So I know that I have like 20,000 YouTube subscribers, but those aren't Valheim subscribers. My Valheim subscribers, I have like a couple thousand. There's no way for me to know because most of those YouTube subscribers are dead subscribers from a decade ago or more when I made dropshipping content. That's like how I got started on YouTube, right? But that being
So what you
said,
need to do is you need to do Valheim drop shipping and then bring those two worlds together,
bring them back, yeah.
and then you can utilize
No,
your
you don't
entire.
want the drop shippers. There's reasons I stopped doing that. Like, it's you don't want it. Uh, but what I was getting at is that when I polled that community, 1/3 of the players wanted someone to play with and didn't have anybody. So it makes me wonder if maybe that can be kind of the value Val-Con brings people. There's this week, this time period, and then you meet a community, and then you're going through with playing with the community after Val-Con ends. But Val-Con is the trigger that gets you to know about them. You know what I mean? Maybe that's a need that it could answer in the normal players, because I think there's reasons that, like you just said, when we talk to people who love Valheim, they always have a story, right? But this is sort of like survivorship bias. We love Valheim. When we talk to other people about Valheim, there's a pretty good chance they had something that made them love Valheim, because if they didn't, we wouldn't be talking to them in the first place, right? So for the average player, those experiences I think are sort of out of reach for them. And obviously you could just join Discord, play with some strangers on the official Valheim thing. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm not saying you can't do that. But maybe there's some more intimate, more genuine way to find a community that's, more unique to what you're interested in. And that's something that Val-Con could help people get.
Yeah, it's all based on luck. Finding that server, the right server for you, is truly based on luck. It depends on when they post their ad. Did you see the ad? Because there's so many ads, you have to go through them all. Like on the Valheim Discord, if you go through
Yeah.
the LFG section, there's thousands of ads. So you have to find the needle in the rough there, and then once you do, you need to click with this group. So to do that, it almost seems exhausting to have to do that all over again, meet another group of people, hope that you click with them, and then you can begin
Yep.
your group playthrough. So Valcon, you can go, and because there's so many Vikings there, you just you instantly know just by hanging out which group you levitate to, and then from there you can go back to their community and then do your playthrough or experience what you want to do for Valcon there. It definitely was a big part of the convention, bringing everyone together. We wanted to highlight the content creators, but we can't do it without the community and the regular players that want to experience what we have to show them.
Yeah, it's like we need to, there's sort of three communities. That's the way I look at it. There's the actual the government, Iron Gate themselves, the actual people who, you know, decide things about the game. And then there's the players, and then there's like sort of content creators, so to speak, right? And
Yeah, you
those
hit the
all
needle on
have
the
conflicting
nail on that.
interests. So it's hard to balance them all. But that's the puzzle we have to crack, basically. And it's funny. I'll go on one quick tangent. I had felt critical towards Iron Gate. Obviously, I have my criticisms, but I was genuinely very happy about Call to Arms. Like I don't know. I know it's not out yet. I know people have only played it a little bit, but I truly believed we were not going to get any content for the rest of this year. Maybe just some little patch or something. I really didn't. I had given up. So I was like heartbroken. I read the Ask Me Anything from Reddit about Deep North, and I felt like, God dang. And then all that happened. And so the reason I bring that up is just because I want to say, like, I think Iron Gate is learning and knows what to do. It's just that they got in really over their head, and now they're kind of like a bigger ship. They're not an indie company. We can say they were an indie company. That's fine. That's great. That's lovely. They have a publisher. They have a team. They're not an indie company anymore.
Yeah,
They're
they
just
have an
not.
indie mindset, but
Yeah,
them
exactly,
themselves are
exactly.
not. After the amount of copies that they sold, they have to understand that they were at one point too big for their britches. So I know that they hired more people, but they still kept that mindset of being an indie company. So
Yeah.
there's only
And
maybe about
I'm
11
not
of them
trying to be
now.
critical about that at all. All I was trying to say, not to deviate from the point too much, is that they had to learn to move a big ship, right? When you go from being indie, you can just decide something, and you're kind of like a dictator. You just, it is what it is, right? If you say it is, it is. But when you have like a whole company to deal with, you lose all that flexibility, and it takes time to do things, and also to pivot and to learn. It's a long process. So I don't want to be too critical of Iron Gate. I want to give them credit that, like, I was quite impressed with this Call to Arms update, especially from a game development perspective. The things they did show that they're aware of some of Valheim's core issues, not end game content issues, core gameplay loop issues, and they're working on them. And they're also even hinting at increasing inventory space, which is something they used to be very stubborn about. So these are signs that they're doing the right things from my perspective, and I just wanted to make it clear to anyone listening, because I know I've been a bit critical sometimes, but just because I make a criticism doesn't mean that I don't respect Iron Gate or that I dislike them. They have still made my favorite game that changed my life. So, like, no matter how critical I can be, I adore them, and I'm very grateful for the fact that I paid $20 for something once, and now, like, yeah, I nah, no words.
Yeah, the game is incredible, and the guys that made it are awesome people. While they may be human, they make mistakes. Um, we could still be here to support them when they release their updates. Something is happening
That's what. No, that's
uh,
it. That's it. You.
behind the
That's
scenes.
Juno.
Something is
No,
kind of
exactly what you just said.
festering in there where
If
they're
they
like,
put
maybe we
themselves
should
out
keep an
there,
eye on the community. What are
if
you
they
guys
put
doing over
themselves
here?
out there,
They did.
they'll see that some of us want to support them, you know. But there's like this hesitation. And I'm sorry to interrupt you. I got too excited. I was agreeing with you. So go
Yeah,
on.
essentially, it's the same idea. It's that they see it, and we've told them. I mean, how many times we had to tell them we love them for them to realize, oh, okay, maybe these guys love us. But they made a game that truly connected with hundreds of thousands of people, maybe even millions of people,
No, it was millions.
and
Millions of people played Valheim. As far as I
and
know,
people
maybe I'm
still to
wrong.
this
I gotta look
day
that up.
find it very, very. I'm trying to choose the right word for this. It's very. It makes them very content with their gaming experience. People will play Valheim and then go try something else that's trying to copy Valheim. There's lots of games out there that try to take Valheim's success and kind of build on it and try to take people elsewhere, but it's never truly Valheim. So they are
13
onto
million.
something. They are truly onto something here with Valheim, and they, in my honest opinion, they've made something that's timeless. This game can run on a potato. Uh, and anyone can really experience it. It's even on consoles now. So, and it's a game that, because it can run on a potato and because you can play it offline, anyone from anywhere, as long as you have power in a computer, you could probably play it. Not every game has that opportunity to reach that many people. And that kind of circles back around to Val-Con, why we wanted to branch out and do more global things for different regions, and so that we could really bring all the Vikings together.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I will say that was not my experience with Valheim. I actually was not able to play Valheim when I first got it and had to get like $1,000 computer to play it properly. And then I still wasn't able to play it properly until I poured tea all over my hard drive and bought a better computer on credit. So my experience has not been one where Valheim is easily available to the masses because it can run on older PCs. I may just be the fact that I live in Nicaragua, but I'm more exposed to the reality of what it's like in these countries that we supposedly want to reach, and we're far away from reaching them. Like Valheim isn't, it's a game that even though it's far behind what modern things are, it is not a game like RuneScape. You could say that RuneScape runs on a potato PC, but to say that Valheim, I think that's a little bit misleading for people. It's just I understand where you're coming from though, because it's not like you need the best possible computer to run Valheim. You could run Valheim well on a computer that's 4 or 5 years old. You know, you don't need cutting edge stuff at all. But
Yeah, my
just
wife bought a computer from Walmart for $500 that had onboard graphics, and she was able to play Valheim. So to be able to take something like that, I mean, it's not going to be like you said, it's not going to
yeah,
run like you want it to,
but still,
but
it's
you can play
accessible.
it.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
So it's in the Western world. I agree. It's easier to become familiar with the experience than it is to be in a place where that $500 computer here is double or triple that price, just because it's harder to get for them, because it's produced or manufactured in a
Yeah,
faraway
it's
country.
tariffs and taxes.
Right.
That's it.
So we are aware of that, and we are open to ideas in any way. I know that is Valheim on GeForce now? Do you know? Can you stream Valheim? I believe you can. It
Can
would
you
be cool to
stream
do
it?
some kind of collaboration with GeForce Now, so that people who
Oh,
don't
I
have a
don't.
computer
Is
that can run it
GeForce
can still play.
GeForce Now? I see. I don't actually know about that. Let's see. GeForce Now.
It's
Huh.
basically a service from GeForce that allows you to stream games instead of.
Oh, yeah, like stream them like from a Steam Deck or something.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, I got you. Not live stream them like this kind of live stream. That makes sense. I understand
Right.
now. I was confused.
And there's
But
also like VR Valheim now. So there's a very
mhm.
popular mod for Valheim to make it VR, and we would love to be able to have people come in VR and meet their favorite content creator, stand right next to them, and walk around their house in VR. And that would be a really cool one-on-one experience that I think people would love. Like me, I would go and probably buy all the tickets for Dakar, sell out the whole thing, and me and Dakar would just hang out all day. So if
That's
I want
funny.
to do that, I know there's people out there that want to hang out and have those experiences. Uh, And because this
Yeah.
is never really, I know Minecraft has conventions and digital conventions where people meet and stuff like that, but Valheim is kind of like Minecraft for adults. So it's like people that play this game want to have those experiences, just like the people in Minecraft want to. And we can really learn a lot from that experience from Minecraft and what they've achieved
Yeah, I
and
mean
how
it's
that
basically
game
the
masses.
prototype really of what hasn't yet happened, right? It hasn't yet happened in Valheim is the way that Minecraft also like as far maybe someone who really knows Minecraft history better can correct me. But my understanding of Minecraft is that it got quite popular in the beginning and then sort of peaked off and died. And then after that, that's when the server community like blew up and it became the thing that it was after that. I'm not sure if that's actually what happened because I didn't play my
It is
stream
actually.
throughout that, but
It is. I'm not going to say that Valheim and Minecraft were the same in the way that it played out because Minecraft is way better bigger than Valheim right now. Um, but it kind of had the same it kind of had the same ebb and flow. It came up really high and then it dipped down and then came up a little bit and then some things happened within the community like Val-Con that kind of brought everyone back. The real diehards, the people that really love the game are still gathered around it today. Um,
Mhm.
and that's kind of what Minecraft did with their conventions and like what you were explaining. It's almost I don't want to say exactly the same, but it's pretty close to what we're experiencing with Valheim. So we can learn a lot by looking at what other games are doing and what works and what doesn't. There's really no need to reinvent the wheel. We just want people to come together and have a good time, and we want them to come again next year.
well put. So, Hilm Klaus says, can you talk about, in general, what your approach is for next year's Val-Con? You mentioned not doing the 24-hour live stream, so what do you plan to present?
So Valcon 2026 will not be a 24-hour streamathon. It will have an opening and closing time, just like if you were to go to an in-person convention, it would be open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. or whatever the opening and closing is. So expect a similar experience to how it was presented in 2025, except it'll be broken up into maybe, like you said, maybe a week of 8 hours a day instead of doing 24 hours a day. That way, people, when they're done for the day, could go lay in their beds instead of being up 24 hours and freaking out because they haven't had sleep, and it gets a little overwhelming. We want it to work out not only for the people watching, but we want the people who present and create the event to also be less stress.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad personally, because that was definitely it's like I understand the novelty of a 24-hour stream, but it is a lot of work and very hard to do. And also I told when I would tell people that they would be like, "Whoa, it was intimidating." You know what I mean? So like I could see how just being like, "Oh, it's this day." That's less like, I mean, honestly, people are really easily frazzled. That's something. So I've just been like doing game development and doing the playtesting on the server and running scripts. And something I've learned is that like reality is not as important as what people think reality is. It's like everything. So if people can't easily join something or access it, it's going to be a problem. It doesn't really matter if you get it to work. If there's a series of 4 steps, it's 4 steps too many or 3 steps too many maybe.
Yeah, I agree. And to kind of piggyback off what Klaus said, uh, the 24-hour stream was a special thing. Like it'll always be what the first event was, and that's what makes Valcon 2025 so special. It's because not only was it a 24-hour stream, but it was also on Valheim's birthday. So that will always have that place. Like we don't want to take away from that. We always want people to have that 2025 soft spot in their hearts. I remember back in the day, I walked up and down the street for 3 miles, and that's the kind of thing we want people to explain as like a mod or an admin for 2025. It was completely insane, but we did it, and that's what made Valcon 2025 so special. Valcon 2026 will take what was special and will put more focus on it. Will be more focused, less less discombobulated. Instead of
Mhm.
having ideas presented all over the place for 24 hours, maybe one day we'll focus on this section of the community, and this day we'll focus on this section of the community. Um, so yeah, that's kind of what the feedback has. That's the feedback we've gathered, and that's what we've applied to 2026.
That makes sense to me. Hilm Klaus says another thing, one server suggestion would be for more in-server events, but also to have the booths more close together. The world was filled, but focusing booths into groups would have made them more accessible, I think. So
I agree.
can I chime in before you, real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Um, so I completely agree. The thing is, though, there's the reality of Valheim multiplayer that makes it very complicated. So go on.
We did. We originally had that idea to put all the booths in one area, and then I remember we had a couple discussions about it. And because the booths had evolved over time, they were first supposed to be like a placeholder for you to go in and be able to put your things inside to make it have life. That kind of grew and
Builders
evolved,
gotta build.
being exactly
Builders gotta
into
build.
almost like a painting in an art exhibit. You have one chance to lure that person in to say, "Hey, come check out my build, check me out," and you want people to see that when they walk by. You don't want to see the same building, just with different interior. It didn't make sense. So we had to up the instance count quite a bit. They were originally supposed to be 2K for a booth. Then now we're talking 4 to 6K per booth. And when you get 4 to 6K buildings in the same space, and then you add a bunch of players going through, that whole area is you're going to see players teleporting, and you're trying to meet somebody, but the person you're trying to meet to is walking on top of the stairs and not moving. It's like it muddies the waters in a way. We wanted those booths to be a place to showcase the personality of the person that you're checking out, and it just didn't work when there were so many in one place. It kind of watered it down.
Kind of like the town problem in Valheim. Like people make a town, but then the town becomes unplayable. So it's like an egg that uneggs itself before it hatches into a chicken, sort of. It's funny.
Very true.
So one thing I'd like to know, I guess with an event like that, so it sounds like basically it's still a little abstract what exactly Val-Con 26 or 2026 will be, but it is not going to be a forced crammed live streamed event. So it sounds more like it's still going to feature like content from content creators and some more community event stuff. So let me just paint a hypothetical, and maybe you can tell me if this is matches what you understand or not. So what if there are more servers available, but the amount of people on each server is less, and there's different events happening, basically like this is the server for this thing, this is the server for this thing, this is the server for this thing, and it's like you're here to do this, you're here to do that, and if you're on the server, does that make sense? I don't know if that, because I'm trying to piece together exactly how we can bridge these two communities. I don't even know how to start bridging to Iron Gate. We got to start with the players and the content creators, and then we can make a bridge to Iron Gate, right? But with the
Right.
players, they need ways to join and interact, right? But because of Valheim, there can't be a big experience with a bunch of people. There can only be lots of servers of which they can pick from, right? So it's almost like that's the part that we would need a lot of labor for, is we need a lot of different server things, right? We need a lot of different servers for people to join instead of just like one official server. And I'll ask one thing because this is related. Constantine said, could you ask him if they could make a PvP server for the next event? Good question, Constantine.
Yeah, it would be cool to have a server that's like completely PvP, and you log in
Just have the
and
arena
you don't
world,
you may get
guys.
slaughtered. right
run
when you
it.
log in. But some people want that experience. Some people like the adrenaline rush
Oh,
the
the Rust
survival and
server.
the aspect of getting slaughtered while you get your comfort bonus, or you step away from the keyboard for a minute and a wolf runs in with that's tamed by another player and they just eat you alive. Like people like that kind of stuff. So we are looking for ideas. Like we want servers to have their own flavor, just like you mentioned. One server for like a build competition's happening there. Another one, maybe a certain content creator is doing a meeting at their booth at this time. Like
Hmm.
those things were in the they were planned to happen for 2025, but because of the scope of the event, it just didn't allow us to do it. So
Yeah, it makes sense.
by by focusing on the event as an 8-hour thing a day, we can then go back and do things like that. So we essentially made it so big that we were like, oh crap, this is like a monster. How do we even contain it? So
Yeah.
what we want to do next is we don't want a monster. We want a cute little puppy dog, and we're going to go take him for a walk and then have an enjoyable time, and
Yeah.
then come back and be able to sleep. So that's kind of what Val-Con 2026 is going to be from an internal perspective. And we hope people see that, when people are less stressed behind the scenes, then, people want to go meet their fans and do the things that people want those content creators to do when it comes to a convention.
Yeah. Yeah, and because I can imagine how there's certain like with the PvP thing, for example, that's very much niche in the Valheim community, right? But there are already servers that exist, like the Arena World server that's ran by them. That is an incredible. Like it's funny when you said that, like people join and then getting killed. I was like, huh? Because I don't think of that. That's like Rust, not Valheim PvP in my head, if that makes sense. Because now when I hear Valheim PvP, I just think Arena World, and like their server is awesome. It's literally perfect for people to join, to have like they've never played before and they have 2 hours to play Valheim with someone. Like it's perfect. It's made for that. It's like the world itself is a lobby and you pick the game types and everything. So I feel like there are already servers that exist that we can probably just like work and coordinate more with before the event to get them more involved. Because I know the Arena World people, like I personally have no interest in PvP at all. But I've been so impressed by what I've seen on their server that it's clear to me the only thing that's missing for them is a bunch of Valheim popularity because they don't have enough PvPers. They've figured everything out. They've loads of game modes. They've gotten the lag to like be super smooth. It was like the smoothest experience I've ever had in Valheim with 4 players in the same chunk, which I know isn't a whole bunch. Was on that Arena World server watching PvP fighting, and like there's no lag. They were just fighting, and like it's a modded server and everything. But my point is that like there's all these communities sort of that already exist. So maybe it's not just about like making things just for Val-Con. It's about like reaching out to all these people and connecting with them so that we can like coordinate better for when the thing happens and kind of direct people there somehow, you know? And then
Yeah, I agree, and that's maybe something that in for 2026, like since we're only open for 8 hours a day, we'll definitely need to highlight things that are going on around the Valheim community. And if it's over a whole week, then people really have not a giant window, but they have a good sized window in order to get people together and do these things to celebrate. And we want to be able to say, go to Arena World because they're doing a special Valcon related event on Wednesday, and then like 300 people join their Valheim server and they hang out there, and we put the spotlight on them for a couple hours or a day or whatever it happens to be. And people can come around the campfire again when the next major broadcast happens the next day, but we want people to scatter and go to these different communities that we're highlighting and experience what they have. It's almost like a regular convention, walking around the booths. Of course we have physical booths in the world, but we want people to interact with these content creators, and we want people to meet each other because we're all one community. um, we're not trying to separate. The goal was to bring together.
yeah, that sounds like a solid approach to it. And Hilm Claw said, I would like to see more focus on community events for the next Valcon. but I do believe those need to be focused to 1 to 2 hours. It's asking a lot to keep viewer attention for even 1 hour. It's asking a lot to keep viewer attention for 10 minutes.
Yeah, and I'm guilty of that for sure because our build competition is like a 3 hour long event, and we only jump in during the last hour of the build. And there, these people are building for 24 hours previously. So even when judging, you know, it takes a little bit of time, and before you know it, it's 3 hours long, and you know your viewers, you know, they come and go because people only have so much time they can dedicate. So I agree. Like when we create events for Val-Con 2026, we should be definitely looking at how much time do we want dedicated to this, and is that too long to keep people focused on when there's all these amazing things going on over so many communities. It's like, how do you keep people focused? Like I said, putting the spotlight on Arena World, how do you get that to happen and people not get distracted and go, oh, this shiny thing or this shiny thing? So
Yeah.
we're
That's
open
why
to
it has to be
suggestions.
like people know ahead of time. That's what makes it complicated, right? Because if you're just like, it's this event, it's today, and now we're showing people stuff for the first time, it doesn't work as well as if like people know that like you're there so to funnel them into Valheim communities and help them find other players, you know.
Agreed.
Let's see. I apologize how dark it is right now. It's about to start raining. I need
No
to get a
worries.
light.
And I agree, Klaus, those events should definitely be created in advance. When 2025 was happening, like I said, when I was talking about the monster that was uncontrollable, the content creators who are putting on those events felt that. And especially, I mean, I don't want to hype myself up, but I was working behind the scenes. I was helping people, and I was running the build competition for the live broadcast. So it was like it was so much. Like we don't want to spread people so thin that it becomes mind-numbingly frustrating uh,
Yeah, it burns
to
people
be able
out.
to work behind the scenes. Like we definitely don't want that to happen again because we want our content creators to be happy. And if our content creators are happy, then it shows in our product. It shows on the stream
Yeah,
uh, that people are having a great time.
yeah, absolutely. Let's see. So I'm trying to think if there's anything that people are gonna like people listening right now are gonna be wondering or curious about that we haven't covered yet. We talked a bit about what Valcon was, some of the lessons we've learned, what's happening next. Okay, let's say someone wants to be involved. What do they do?
We have a Valcon Discord that you can join. I believe it's on all of our YouTube videos. There's a join link at the bottom. I know we have an
Hmm.
X page, and there's a join link there. You could even shoot me a DM,
Oh,
and I'll get you an invite. Just look Burno up on the either the Valheim official Discord. You could find me in there, or any of the other major content creators. I'm in Balron's Discord. But once you get into the Valcon Discord, then you can, you know, take a look at what's going on in the events. We have meetings that are going to be ramping up here very soon. In September, meetings will begin to start the planning for Valcon 2026. So now would be a perfect time if you want to contribute. Come check us out, come hang out and share your ideas. uh, Never know that your idea could be implemented and it could make Valcon 2026 super special. So don't be shy.
that's lovely. So just to clarify what Giorno said, if you want to get involved, there's a Discord that's put together that's used to coordinate everything and plan and schedule meetings and these things. So you need to get into that Discord. That's the first step. So what you need to do as a person who wants to be involved in Valcon 2026 is join the Discord, which is available on their YouTube channel, I think on their Twitch channel, or in the description of this YouTube video.
Yep, and we have lots of people that work behind the scenes at Valcon. I'm sure if you DM'd any of the moderators, they'd be able to help you out. If you have any questions about anything, we always have an open door policy. You could go into our Discord channels and write your thoughts, whatever it may be. We're not going to penalize anyone for telling us that we did something wrong or it's better to do things this
Be
way.
respectful.
We want those thoughts. We want that feedback, and we encourage it.
All right, then. Now, does anyone have any other questions you want Jorno or myself to go over? Well, mostly Jorno, because I don't really know what's happening. Now I know more though, so I feel more educated. I also feel like I'm a dark gremlin hiding in a corner.
Spooky
I
gremlin.
had I had a light, but I usually don't use video anymore, to be honest. Can you tell?
A little bit. So I don't see any more questions. So if no one has any final questions, then um, thank you again for having me. I hope everyone enjoys what happens in the future with Valcon, and anyone who's interested and wants to be involved donates with whatever time they're comfortable donating to the cause. And yeah, we will see you guys in 2026.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. And if you want to participate in a Valheim live stream, usually in game, not with Dark Gremlin JP, then all you have to do is reach out to me. I'm trying to be a place that people can come to talk about their projects, kind of like what we're trying to do with Val-Con, except all year round on YouTube, right? So if you are interested, just comment, reach out. I'm here. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. I appreciate all your time, effort, and attention. And we'll see you